Tingles with flyby. Hello, my tinglings. I'm back with another top 10 video. So, when I did my top 10 movies, I promised that I was going to do a top 10 most rewatchable, so that you shouldn't expect any of those movies on my best movies list. So here's my most rewatchable movies list. What qualifies for this list is movies that I've seen more than once, and the way I think of it is, if I see it on TV, it's a movie that I'm like, ooh, I can't really turn that off, I have to watch it. That to me is like, oh yeah, it's a really gripping, rewatchable movie. So, without further ado, let's get into the list.
Number 10.
Is What's Up, Doc? This is a very popular movie in my extended family. So, with my aunts and uncles and cousins, particularly my cousin Mary, she loves this movie. But I've watched it a lot of times with my family. If you haven't seen it, it's a Barbra Streisand movie. And there's these lost suitcase, there's these 5 identical suitcases that's on a plane together, and everybody picks up the wrong suitcase. And so mayhem ensues, and it's just funny to see everything that happens because of these suitcases going to the wrong spots and all that. So, even though, yeah, it's funny even when you know what's happening. And it's funny because, she's part of it all, even though she doesn't, well, she does have a suitcase as well. But yeah, it's a fun movie. They have a car chase that goes on the most crooked street in the world in San Francisco. It's just fun. It's an old movie. It's from the 70s, 80s, I don't know when actually. Sometime around then, I'm guessing. So, yeah. But pretty much, yeah, if I see it on, I will watch to the end. And yeah, it's just very, very rewatchable. So, makes it my number 10.
Number 9.
Is Sleeping Beauty. So, there is crossover on this list from my top 10 Disney movies. This movie. And it's because I have watched this movie a lot. I haven't included Cinderella on this list, which I watched a ton as a child, because I kind of got my fill then. It's not as rewatchable for me now, but Sleeping Beauty, one that still compels me now, so very, very rewatchable, but I won't double up on that one since I talked about it more in my top 10 Disney movies. So, Sleeping Beauty is my number 9. Is Joe versus the Volcano. This is very much, you either get this movie or you don't, is my experience. My aunt, me and my dad saw it together, and we loved it. We just thought this is such a great movie. So he told my aunt about it, so she went and she got it and rented it and saw it, and she didn't like it all. She was like, oh, yeah, I just didn't think it was funny. But then she watched it one time, I think with my dad. I don't think I was there. And when he was laughing, then that made her laugh, because then it was like she could kind of see the humor in it then. So, I don't know, it's a very particular type of style movie. It's a lot based on style. And Meg Ryan plays 3 different characters in the movie. No real reason, just she does. And that's, what happens. It's funny. I don't know. As I said, and his luggage. Yes, this luggage salesman, and that luggage salesman is just so devoted to his craft of selling luggage. That luggage salesman, that's what I aim to bring to every ASMR sales video that I do, is that passion and understanding and expertise, that feeling. That's what I try to bring. I don't think I bring quite as articulately as he does, but I also don't have my lines written for me. So, well, I think I perform better because I don't have lines written for me. I think if I was sticking to lines, I would sound more stilted and less natural, and I feel like it's most important to feel natural, so I improv it a bit more. Anyway, Joe vs. Volcano, very rewatchable. I watched it lots of times. It's a great movie. I'll watch it many more times in my life, so it's got to be on my list, and it's coming in at number 8. Is It's a Wonderful Life. I actually watched an interesting video about It's a Wonderful Life recently. I've been binge watching all the Adam Ruins Everything videos on YouTube. Really interesting series, and he's an interesting character. But so basically, apparently the story with It's a Wonderful Life is huge commercial flop, and then the copyright was gonna go out, and they were just like, oh yeah, no, have it, we just don't really care. It wasn't worth it to them to try and hold the copyright. And so all these TV stations had lots of air to fill leading into Christmas. And it's like, oh, well, if we play this, it's free. So they played it and played it and played it. And that's basically how it got a second birth, was through the copyright lapsing. Then it ended up that they went back in the screenplay copyright, and anyway, all these other things weren't done. So then it's, I think, still under copyright today, probably, because ridiculous copyright rules. But anyway, so It's a Wonderful Life, just a very classic story, if it wasn't classic from the beginning. George Bailey, just trying to do his best, reaches that point of desperation and feeling lonely and useless. I think we've all felt like that at some point, but then to be given a window into the impact that he's had on people around him, I just think it's really special, and something that always resonates with me, just to think about, the impact that I'm having on other people, or that other people have had on me as well, and where I would be if other people, you know, hadn't been there for me. So, just, yeah, very touching, very good movie, and some good lines in my family. Don't remember where, but anyway, it comes in handy down here, Bub, talking to Clarence about money. He's like, oh, I don't have money. Well, it comes in handy down here, Bub. So that my uncle sent it to my, a thing like that to my aunt, or my aunt sent it to my uncle. I don't know. Anyway, some relevant family story that I don't remember what it is, so I don't know why I'm bringing it up. You know, just rolling with it. Anyway, It's a Wonderful Life. Great movie. Number 7. Number 6. Is Pillow Talk. It's one of the first Doris Day movies that I saw. I really like a lot of Doris Day movies, and I went through a period when I was maybe 11 or 12, around that age, where I just went through and watched all the Doris Day movies that anybody had. My aunt had a lot of them. My Aunt Jackie, if you've ever seen her around in the comments section or in a live stream, she's also one of my beloved patrons, so she's amazing. And actually the other aunt I was talking about is my Aunt Becky, who's also one of my patrons. She doesn't comment as much in my videos. I don't know if she's on YouTube well, anyway. And then I have another aunt who also watches my videos. So, anyway, I'm getting way off track here. Doris Day. Anyway, Pillow Talk. It's just... the whole concept was foreign to me then. It'd probably be even more foreign to kids nowadays, having a phone line that you have to share with somebody else. I didn't even understand how that would work. Now that I've worked in a call center, I'm like, oh, you would actually be sharing the same copper, which is really interesting. Anyway, so she shares a party line with this guy who's a real womanizer, and then they end up falling in love and whatever, but it's, I don't know, it's just a compelling story. And yeah, I like her acting. It's just kind of it's got that old-timey feel. It feels very period from that time as well. So I really enjoy that. So Pillow Talk, definitely my number 6. Is Real Genius. Now, this movie... used to play on the Disney Channel a lot when I was really young. And there's a scene where they have just this huge thing that then, like, it's a laser, and they're using it to pop popcorn. And so it's like the whole building gets filled with popcorn. And I love that scene. It just lit my imagination alight. But I really liked the Val Kilmer character as well. That one made me really like Val Kilmer. So I've watched it a ton of times. I haven't watched it actually very recently as an adult. But if I saw it on, I would definitely watch it. So it definitely qualifies on my list, and and I will definitely watch it again. Just, yeah, I watched a lot when I was, again, I think that about 12 to 13 age, maybe 10 or 11, something like that. Real genius. I watched that a ton. So, that's my number 5. Number 4 is That Thing You Do. This is the first quasi-musical movie. This movie is more about music than actually being a musical. Like, they do sing songs in there, but they don't have, like, dance numbers and all that. That is what I traditionally associate with musicals. I do have one musical on my list. I had to put it on there. You'll see when I put it there. But I am going to do a separate musicals list as well. I really like musicals. So I'm going to make a top 10 musicals list as well. But, yeah. Anyway, That Thing You Do. I think I saw this movie most recently when I was in New Zealand for my 5-year anniversary. I finally watched it with my love. He really liked it. And I love the song. The main song. I love the music. You got the drummer, Jimmy. Just interesting to see the dynamics of a band on tour and like kind of how that goes. How they get hot, how they get big. That huge crash. I don't know. Just a really interesting story. And, yeah. Very rewatchable. Music's very catchy, but feels very period as well. I love some of the other songs. They have Mr. Downtown and If You Hold My Hand, You Hold My Heart from the Chantrellines. Feels very Diana Ross and all that. And yeah, I think it's really well done. Got Tom Hanks in there. Great movie. Great to watch many, many times. So once you watch it, you got, plenty more watches in the bank. Because you're going to want to watch it more and more times. So that's why That Thing You Do is my number 4. Is The Wizard of Oz. This is such a classic movie. Something that was created to really showcase color and everything in it, but just really timeless characters. They've got fantasy, but it's a very, very simple fantasy. Just walk along this yellow brick road and you're going to end up at this Emerald City. You've got a witch, the Wicked Witch, got all that. It's got some good music in there as well. Obviously, still not a musical. We'll get to the musical, don't worry. And Julie Andrews, she's great. Judy Garland, I don't know why I said Julie Andrews. Judy Garland, she's great, has a great voice. And, sings really well. And, it's just a fun concept, and really touching about, these people who really, really care about her. And she's running away from them, but then finding out that, it's really, there's no place like home. It's a very, nice thought. It's very comforting for me. I grew up in a good home. I know people who don't, so I don't expect that to resonate with everybody, but for me, very, very resonating. Love it. Very rewatchable. So, Wizard of Oz is my number 3. says, "Hello, Dolly." I love that. I love that movie. My dad had the cassette tape while I was growing up. So I used to go over to his house if I wanted to watch a movie going to sleep. It would almost always be Hello, Dolly that I'd be watching. I love Cornelius and Barnaby and lighting candles up to make things explode so they can get a day off work. Just hilarious. And yeah, it's got a lot of good music, a lot of good dance numbers. I mean, this is the musical, if you didn't catch that. So, yeah, it's good. It's just a lot of fun. And then she's just arranging everything. She's a very busy woman. Somebody might call her a busybody, but yeah, she's working as a matchmaker, making a match for herself, and yeah, and she has all these cards going around that are very specific for every situation. And so she, hands people cards and then they read them out. It's great. And the music's really great. You got Louis Armstrong in there, and what else? What else could you want? So, I watched this a ton growing up. I think the most recent time I saw it was I was on the plane, and I saw that was in there. I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch Hello, Dolly. So they probably fell asleep to it again. I've probably seen the beginning about 10 times, as many times as I've seen the end, but although most of the time I would then watch the rest when I woke up in the morning. It's a great movie, worth watching 10 times, worth watching 100 times. So that's why it makes it to number 2 on my list. I have 3 honorable mentions for us here. The first is Reality Bites. This is a movie really like in my family, particularly with my dad. Me and my dad, I think my sister likes it too, but anyway, the 3 of us. Or maybe the 2 of us, I don't know. But Ethan Hawke, his character, very intellectual and kind of snooty, but he doesn't have a job and is kind of just wasting his life away, but acting like this is some, noble act and that he's a better person for doing this. And and you got Lenny, who has to come out to his parents as gay. And then a Ben Stiller character, and it's funny. I don't know. It's a good movie. And it's got this line, David Spade's in there, does a little cameo. And one of the most quotable lines from that is one that I think causes chagrin for my niece, who my sister says it to, which is, if you got time to lead, you got time to clean. And I was showing that to her because she'd never actually seen the movie or heard the quote. And we heard this other line that he says, which was, "Have a tood, wiener dude." He's working in a fast food place that sells hot dogs. Anyway, my dad just busted out laughing when we saw it the first time, and then when I mentioned it when we were Skyping after he had left as well, so he loved that. But yeah, good movie. Another one is Princess Bride. Very, very classic. Probably a little unlucky not to make my list. It's a great movie, very rewatchable, very quotable. I mean, who hasn't said how many times, "My name is Inigo Montoya, you kill my father, prepare to die." And, you gotta watch it every time you see it, definitely. So, it's an honorable mention, very, very close to making the list. And then my third honorable mention is Mrs. Doubtfire. I watched this a ton growing up. Robin Williams is amazing, really compelling, does a great job selling these two different characters, playing these two different characters, and yeah, it's just great. Lots of, ensuing with him being a woman and him being a man, and doing that to see his kids. It seems a bit bizarre actually now that I'm an adult and I understand why that caused problems when I was a kid. I'm just like, oh no, it's okay, he just did it to see his kids. But as an adult, I understand that's a little weird. Very weird. So, anyway, but those are my honorable mentions. So now let's move on to is Back to the Future. And it doesn't really matter which movie it is, 1, 2, or 3, just say the whole trilogy or any movie singly. Anytime I see Back to the Future on TV, and it's on TV actually quite a lot, more if I catch it live. If it's something where I see it advertised, I won't make a special effort. But anytime I actually catch it, very hard to turn it off because it is just so damn watchable. It's just so good. It's just so good. You got, just a little bit of sci-fi. Doc Brown just looks like a crazy mad scientist. And lots of weird concepts of meeting your parents when they're older, meeting your children. Just lots of really interesting concepts that you're going to, and it's just cool, flying in a DeLorean. You have a time machine, time travel. I mean, what's more interesting than time travel? Not much, because I think it's the thing I've watched the most in my life, and very, very rewatchable. So, that's why Back to the Future is number 1. So let me know if you agree with my list. If you have something that you have to watch all the time, that you love to watch, let me know down in the comments. And definitely let me know your number 1 movie that you watch anytime you see it on. I want to know what everybody else loves watching. So let me know, and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye, my tinglings. Thanks for watching.